Hello everybody and welcome back to LMM, and if you're enjoying what you're seeing on the channel at the moment, have a give this video a like and maybe subscribe to the channel to help us grow, and perhaps even check out Patreon. It is a blustery morning in Yorkshire and I'm up here filming, although that's not meant to start this afternoon. And luckily for me, there is a country and game show on. In fact, it is the Yorkshire Country and Game Show 2025, and we went, let's go lose a morning here. So join me as a look round as we find some tractors, I think some fire engines, maybe some miniature steam engines and some old lorries. One of the mainstays of a show like this is the lineup of vintage stationary engines, and there were a wide varieties of different makes and models on display. I particularly like those that have the open crank, more so if you can see the valves move and hear them every time they fire. It's an absolutely wonderful flurry of movement and noise, so enjoy a couple of these things just chugging along, particularly this one, which every time it fired you can watch the carrier jump. And then it was time to go and look at one of my favourite things. As documented, I like tractors, so I've never seen one of those before, but I like that, I like this, and I like old tractors, like the old ones, and I have no idea what that is, but I like it, and I really like this case, that's cool. And then more modern cases, of which honestly they don't do anything for me, but it's nice to see them preserved and represented. And now more tractors. So a 35 petrol, a T20, a T20. So we're going to play a fun game here of are there more T20s or 35s at this show. So a lot of T20s already. Then a Nuffield, a Leyland. Oh, I always like Leyland tractors, they look so strange. Oh, Fulton Dexter there, another Fergie. I love these John Deeres that have the triangle system. I don't know why they did it, but I love it. Another Deere. A Tug of some sort, a big international 27. Oh, I've got a B275, so this is the 276, so the version that fires mine. Then a T20, a T20 with LED front running lights, a T20. Then we got a 35, the same as mine, Perkins 3-cylinder, a 35, a 135, so the big brother, a Fergie. That's very, very clean, and a cab that tilts back. That's nice, the cab. We've got a Fulton Dexter and whatever this thing is, but I am in love because that is absolutely awesome. What is it? Oh, it's German. Then another Fulton Major, but this one is the upgraded version with the four-wheel drive. So another diff there, and then the drive shaft coming in down the side with a takeoff off there, which I think is awesome. Another 35, and then something from my hometown, a little Ransom's crawler. Now I'd love to have a Ransom's crawler because that's awesome. Ford 3600, bid Fulton Major, and another Ford, and that loops us round to the Leyland and the 35. Now, my friend Tom has got a Merc as his daily driver, and I'm not a huge fan. I admit it's a huge car, but if I was having a Merc, this is the kind of Merc that I would have. This is awesome. So, little BMC Mini, which is very cute. A Fergie 65, the bigger version of the 35. Another 35. A Fulton Major, oh, David Brown, a bit more rare. Fulton Dexter, another one of those. I love this Leyland, I love the colour, that's a bit more unusual. Another Fergie, Ford Super Dexter, another T20, then another Ford Super Dexter. And then this Farm Hall Cub. Now I love these because it's all built on the side, on the as we'd say in Suffolk. So the idea was that it gives a better view for your driver sat there to be able to see the implements of what he's doing. But I love the weird lopsided face, it's just weird. Then another 35, another Leyland, a Nuffield, another 35. This might put 35s in the lead as the most common tractor on the show. A 158, super. Haven't seen one of those for a while. A T20, a 135, an International B275. It's what Jeb should look like. I have one of these, only mine doesn't look quite as happy as this, and this one kind of works. Another Ford, Nuffield Universal Ford, nice thing. And oh, look at that. I love the colours of that, that's glorious. So here we have the winner of the most comically oversized Rams frame and bucket for size of tractor. Then another Dexter, 35's definitely being in the lead now for the most common vehicle at the show. International 475, and then another John Deere. I love these things, so they have their radiator mounted in the side rather than the front, so there's nothing if you hit the front end, you don't destroy the radiator. They are on the side out. Another Leyland with a really nice cab, big Nuffield. Another old Fordson, is that a Super Dexter? No, Super Major. Another David Brown, so there's only been 2 David Browns at the show. The Wheel Horse, which amuses, and then whatever this is, which is my new favourite thing. Oh, look at that, with presumably a little single-cylinder BSA engine. Oh, the Uni Horse. Look at the drive system on this. It all belts on the side. I love that. Anyway, moving on from the Uni Horse to another 35, I mean the most popular tractor at the show. Another TE20, normally the most popular tractor at a show. Another 35, another 35. There are a lot of 35s, and I really do need to finish mine. Particularly, I like the fact that he's got his mirror up there on the exhaust pipe. Another, a Fortune Power Major. Then, TE20. Could TE20s come back to be the most popular tractor at the show? Another TE20, almost, but then there's another 35. Fortune Dexter, and then a proper Fortune Major. Love that. That is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Oh, proper big machine. And then, of course, bring it back down. Another TE20. Big Ferguson, much more modern. An International 414. Oh, I looked at having a 414 at one point. Didn't happen though. And then an Alice Chambers. And not the one I want a B, which one of my friends has. Love the 4-wheel drive Fordson. Proper Major there, with the prop shaft coming down the side to give it 4-wheel drive. I'll do like a little Fordson. Look at that. That's very pretty. But that 4-wheel drive is proper cool. And I do love a Field Marshal. Technically capable of running at 0 RPM with a big single-cylinder engine. And probably, looking at the little screw on the front, one of the ones you start with a shotgun. Yes. So you take this handle out here, and you put your shotgun cartridge into it, and you hit the end of it there with an hammer, and it goes bang, poff, 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 poff. Something sadly I will never get in the shed is something like this, because I'm not allowed tracked vehicles. It's a Fortune Major diesel tracked vehicle. So it's a Fortune Major off which you have taken the front wheels off and given it tracks, which are driven off the rear axle, and then you brake each one to steer. A Fergie that's blue, and another Fortune Major. I definitely feel like I'm in the market to have some kind of lorry. That Foden is lovely. Particularly enjoying a show when something comes with a trailer as well. Would love an ERF like that. And that's a relatively late Atkinson, because Atkinson is now long disappeared, but you know, it's very pretty. Again, I still love the fact that ERF has a trailer. And the Foden there, particularly with the little bulge coming out the front, is glorious. That's nice. Another ERF. 6, and then proper Scania. And this is something you don't see very often anymore on proper modern trucks. It's actually some nice cab artwork on the side. A nice old Bedford, the Army spec Bedford, 4-wheel drive and high off the cab. I love the cab on that. That is glorious. A Mini which presumably has got lost. Then an AEC. Again, AEC, one of those companies that's long gone. Very old. And I love this Leyland, mostly because it just looks like there used to be something across there and it's now not there anymore. It looks like it's gone missing. And then, that's a beautiful, and also double rear 8-wheel, 4-axle ERF. I mean, this is from when things were properly designed. Look how pretty it is. It is beautiful. I want that. And also the Leyland. Again, bought a trailer with it. I love it when it brings a trailer with it. Just completes the whole look. What a fantastic slab frapped forward. Oh, that's glorious. Another nice Bedford. And then another one of these Leylands with a completely, but this one's also got a trailer. Just love that front end of it. I don't know what this Leyland is, but it's so kind of futuristic looking for an old machine. And but that needs to be sign written across the front. I like this, I want one of them. Here we have Lorryception. Lorry on a lorry. That's a very smart Atkinson there, looks absolutely mint actually. And then, surprisingly, a Dodge which has survived as a horse box. That's basically all we seem to see Dodges as, are fire engines and horse boxes now. Nice Leyland with its flatbed and load. which, oh, that's clever, that load's been turned into a living quarters. Then another Atkinson. Good selection of lorries at this show. Another AEC 4-axle 8-wheel, that's cool. That's lovely. Landy, then vaguely the wrong place. And another Leyland, that's a lovely tractor unit. Oh, that is very pretty. And again, coming with its own trailer as well, which completes the look. Oh, a Studebaker. A Merc, which is probably old enough to be here. And then I like this, you're going to bring your tractors to the show, but you won't actually offload your tractors to the show, just leave them on the back. Oh, that's a lovely, oh, that's beautifully old, these two Bedfords. Another ERF. I've got a real hunkering for an ERF at the moment. They're just, and another very, very pretty Scania. That's a Leyland Super Comet, and then the Leyland Normal Comet. Two minivans which look very lost. This, which I think started off life as a Clio, or something else, which has now been turned into a little version of that to drive around the shows, but it's very cute. And then there's equally a mini version of a Landy here. Oh, this very, very pretty Bedford here. And then a Ford, of which, I mean, I know it is old enough, but it doesn't feel old enough. Beautiful old Volvo F10. I would love a Volvo in my life. And this Scammer with a beautiful cab. That is stunning. Another lovely Bedford, all complete with its load. Another AEC. Love the cab design on that, it's so pretty. The Landy, that proper Dennis bus. Oh, that is very cool. Another Landy, and then an auxiliary fire service Bedford, and another Bedford to go with. So this is the kind of thing that would go with the Green Goddesses, to be the support vehicles that go with them. This Scamble cab is such a weird design with all the ridges in it and the way it comes out, and then this bumper on it which looks like an afterthought. And I absolutely love it. It's called a Trunker 3. Another lovely Foden, and another again, really got a thing for Volvos at the moment. Volvos and ERFs for me.
Combining two of my interests, some of the lorries were carrying the larger of the stationary engines, but then it was time to go and see something that I had wanted to see for ages, and that was tractor pulling. Now this was just show pulling, they weren't pulling the sled and competing, this was just showing off to the public, and as such it meant there were a good variety of vehicles taking part, including this 6-wheel drive American Army truck, which we were really excited to see pull. But up next was another tractor. And after that run, the tractor/sled made its way back to the start line, ready for the American truck to have its pull. We were pretty convinced that nothing else would compare to the sheer might of that American Army truck, but we decided to kick around and watch a couple more pulls anyway.
5.9 litres there. So, go on Emily. Get that sledge off the track. So,
the uninitiated, proper tractor pulling is the art of modifying tractors to pull a sled, which has a moving weight on it. The further you move across the course, the more the weight moves down, pushing more weight down onto the sled, making it hard to pull. The person who can pull it furthest wins. Now, as much fun as the tractor pulling was, there were plenty of other things still to see, so we headed off into the show and came across this stuff.
Now, you'll recall ages ago I did a video on an Austin Gypsy and mentioned that there was a fire engine variant, and here one is in the flesh. Things I really like about this: it has a Coventry Climax pump just bolted on the front of it that comes straight from the engine, and then it has a fiberglass roof, of which they've cut out a load of the fiberglass roof and put the suction pipes on top and then remoulded the fiberglass around it. The downside obviously means you can't fold your front windscreen down anymore, but I love that. It's really, really cool. Although the one I drove was horrendous, because I think there's 11 links between the steering wheel and the wheel, so you're constantly just driving it like that.
Something that I'd not seen before was this GMC pickup fire appliance, which was pretty unusual and very cool. It also had fully working pumps, which were demonstrated to us by the owners. And the GMC wasn't the only appliance demonstrating how its pumps worked.
Standing around the back of this Green Goddess, which is plumbed up but not actually doing anything, we have all these monitors going around. So there's water being taken out of the lake, goes through a 6 breach into all of the little smaller hoses that are running all of these monitors over there. So it's pretty cool to actually see them doing something and chucking water, although this thing isn't actually pumping. These two are both running. So that one and that one, I think they've both got the same engine as mine in, at least they're both Perkins. And then they are both sucking up using the suction hoses into the pump, out, through this, back to another one of these big breaches, which then goes over that way, over to the Green Goddess, which fills the Green Goddess, which then goes around and goes over to one of the other pumps, which is then running the monitors. It's a very convoluted but kind of cool system. Something that always makes me feel a bit sad, but also gives me a bit of excitement and motivation for the future, is seeing a Dodge. Now, this is the same as mine, in regard as this one is a G13. So it's the same type of machine as mine, it's got the same engine and very similar in its layout. My one is different in that the body is converted by a different company. This was a Mountain Range, whereas that is not. However, I really, really want to get mine done because I'd love to have it out and it would look so similar to this. I need to get the Dodge done. So, you might be looking at this going, oh Lorrie, it's just like yours. Oh no, this is the one that came after mine. This is an SS, so known because it has a tilting cab. Having a tilting cab is a very useful thing because it means you can actually get to your engine, whereas mine, you have to lean across the seats and lie there in an awkward position to get to the engine. This one, you just go clunk and you get into. But effectively, underneath, it's pretty much the same machine. They're the same options for engine and gearbox available. And so yeah, as that, I really like that, but it's not mine. And I like mine more. I should like this more because it's easier to work on, but I like mine. It's really nice to see how a Danish should actually have its lockers done, and the amount of stuff that I should be carrying, which I don't. And their hose reels are very different to mine, because mine are just... This is taller than mine, I think. Well, so I got one of them now. It's really nice seeing this lineup of Dennis's. There's this, which is the D-type, I think, wooden body, fiberglass cab, and then the back end the same. Then another SS with body by Carmichael, and then another Dodge, different G13, but command control unit.
A staple at these kind of events is to see some full-size traction engines, but the only one that was attending this event was this absolutely stunning Showman's engine. That said, it wasn't the only steam engine, as there are a good variety of miniatures in attendance. I'm always in awe of the amount of skill that it takes to be able to build one of these miniature marvels. It's the same joy of having a full-size steam engine, but on a much scaled down form, meaning it's easier to look after and, more importantly, transport to shows. They work in exactly the same way, and it's great to have the smells and the sounds of steam engines at a show like this. It just wouldn't be a country show without steam engines. And then it was time for one of my favourite things, seeing all of the tractors parade into the ring and hearing the sounds of those vintage engines roar as they trundled past. I just love this. So sit down and enjoy about 10 minutes of vintage tractors.
So there's definitely a few you may recognise, like the Grey Fergies and the Fordsons and the Nuffields and the David Browns. But there's also some that are a bit different that we've not seen before. We'd have to go and have a word with some of those, I think. Find out a bit more about some of these machines. And of course, before the tractor came along, the land was ploughed by horses, and you needed a man to look after the horse and a man to operate the plough. So all of a sudden, when the tractor came along, all this could be done by just one man. So labour saving, and it was done a lot quicker. And somebody somewhere worked out that it was actually cheaper. I don't know who. And the tractor changed the face of British agriculture. It was never going to go back to horses. Although a friend of mine who is an old farmer, he said that when he was a lad, his grandfather didn't really favour this newfangled tractor idea. He wanted to stick to horses, but it didn't happen. Tractors were the future, and that was that. Now, some people have restored these tractors completely from scratch. They've taken what was an old rust bucket and restored them to showroom condition. But then there are others that don't really want to do that. They kind of quite like them in the condition that they've accumulated over the years in working condition. Some people like that look and want to leave it like that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with either, really. Can we still get parts for these tractors? Well, I would have thought so. There's various engineering companies sprung up to manufacture parts for heritage vehicles. Not had its wheat a bit. But they're still coming in. I didn't realise there was this many. Oh, it looks like we're going to have to get the tow rope out down here, just a demonstration about to start. Some people have, of course, taken the original engine out of their tractor and put a different one in. There's a man just gone past with the 300 TDI in a grey Fergie, and the 300 TDI probably sprang from under the bonnet of a Discovery. And up here we go now, we've got the towing demonstration just coming past the commentary box. Joined by the American contingent, the John Deeres, resplendent in green and yellow. I don't think I've seen a field marshal yet. I haven't seen one come in. You can usually tell the field marshal, your single cylinder, and they sort of make a pop, pop, pop sort of a noise. But I don't think we've had one through the gate yet. Hopefully someone will bring them in. And a lot of these guys take these tractors, and girls of course, take these tractors on charity road runs, where they raise lots of money for local charities. Even though our ridiculous government still seem to want them to put white diesel in a tractor that is going to be used for raising money for charity. Can't run them on red anymore. Unbelievable, really. We have a yellow Massey Ferguson coming past now. Instead of the grey, the Ferguson grey, yellow ones were usually used for sort of plant hire companies and things like that. And then we've got a big Case International 4-wheel drive just coming past the commentary box. That's it, no more tractors to come in, and disappointingly we're going to field marshal. And if you like tractors, don't forget we have the Tractor Fest event at Newby Hall. That's next month, where there's more tractors than you can shake a winding handle at. Interference over the speakers again there. That's the HT from the ignitions on some of these tractors. Some of them are not very well suppressed, and it just interferes.
And so that brings us to the end of this fairly rapid walk around, because as I mentioned at the start of the video, this is what we're doing for a morning, and then this afternoon we're off filming some other stuff. So this was a lovely way to kill a morning. I hope you've enjoyed coming to the Yorkshire Game and County Show 2025. And yes, I did have to look at the brochure to remember what it was called. Anyway, I got to find the car. I can't remember where that is. All my colleagues have gone. So whilst I look for a car, if you have enjoyed this, how about looking somewhere over there for another similar video we've done, or down there for adventures with, I don't know, tractors or something. Anyway, I need to find a car. Ta-ra.